sense supernaturals nearby, immunity to magic, and some empathic traits. For having those gifts, the Supes had hunted us for centuries. Lizette had known me for 11 years, since our sophomore year in high school, and even she didn't know my secret. It was safer that way. My heart skipped a beat. Only 3 people left. A brawny werewolf bouncer stood as the gate guard to the dark abyss beyond. His alert brown eyes checked the IDs handed to him, but he did little more than skim their details. Subtle sniffs flared his nostrils as he came into contact with each human. You could fake an ID, but you couldn't fake your natural smell. Not even with perfume. A werewolf could detect your age down to a year with little more than a whiff or two. He pulled a young brunette out of line who wore a tiny red dress. It didn't cover up much and left plenty of curves to show. She stood off to the side with her hands on her hips. "I'm 21. You have to let me in." He flung her ID at her.
"This is fake. Get out of here."
She squealed her outrage, grabbed her ID off the ground, and stomped off. I envied her. She had an excuse to leave. Supes rarely messed with underage humans. Even they had lines they avoided crossing. As I took my next steps toward the entrance, my feet itched to make an all-out run the other way. Even the military hadn't made me strong enough to deal with this kind of crap. One would think if I could survive being shot at and nearly blown up, a nightclub wouldn't be that bad. It was my past experiences with them that were the problem. They'd killed Wanda, another censor I knew, 8 years ago. The memory of her murder at a Supe's hands flashed in my mind often, and served as a constant reminder of what could happen to me. I'd known Lizette since before the incident, making her the only supernatural I could tolerate. We stepped up to the bouncer and handed over our IDs. I pretended not to feel the claws raking against my psyche from being so close to him. Lack of regular exposure to Supes made them more difficult to be around. Slow, deep breaths brought some relief. The werewolf did the same cursory check as he had with the others while sniffing us out. He gave my friend a subtle nod. It must have been some kind of supernatural acknowledgement. His eyes didn't even linger on me before he waved us inside. It took a moment for my eyes to adjust to the dimness of the lengthy hallway. Black walls enclosed me tightly. Only the solitary words, "Mousetrap," written in dripping blood-red letters, decorated one side. I suppressed a shiver and tried not to think of their implied meaning. No wonder I was paranoid. Several humans crowded the corridor, already caught in the supernatural snare. They had the glazed eyes of those who had imbibed one too many drinks, or maybe more since one fell down. I stepped over him and kept going. Once we moved into the main room, we found ourselves sucked into a huge crush of dancers. The capacity had to be close to the max, despite it being almost the size of a basketball court. Did they want us packed in like sardines? Lizette split off from me with a small wave. I fought my way to the bar and ordered a drink. The vampire attending it had shaggy brown hair and dark eyes. An ice-cold feeling came from him, shocking my senses with its frigidity. Deep, subtle breaths pushed the feeling down. If I stopped avoiding his kind so much, this sort of thing wouldn't happen. The vampire produced my grenadine-laced Long Island iced tea with a flourish moments later. His smile, though fangless, showed more than a little interest. I gave him some cash and hurried away to find a semi-quiet corner, as far from any non-humans as possible. That turned out to be about 15 feet, but it was the best I could do under the circumstances. Lizette had already joined the throng of dancers. She fit right in while gyrating with a guy sporting tricolored hair and multiple piercings. Her bob of freshly colored pink didn't stand out much in this place. Our styles differed as much as our personalities. I preferred to keep my dark auburn hair long and natural. She changed hers in the way others did their clothes. The level of my drink continued to go down as I leaned against the wall. A nearby vampire waitress with long blonde tresses moved about the room. She sashayed through the congested dancers with fluid grace while keeping her serving tray steady. I kept hoping she'd drop it when someone bumped into her, but to my annoyance,